When should I apply for ISB? Is there any difference between round 1 and round 2 or round 3? By when should I give the GMAT? Is there any preferential treatment given to the GMAT over the GRE? Who should I take LOR from? Is it my current manager or former manager? Should I write the goals essay or not? I'll answer all of these questions in this video. But first, I'll want to talk about the A to Z of the ISB admissions process. Why am I recording this video? Because a lot of working professionals and college graduates who are on the cusp of applying for ISB, they keep on asking me questions regarding what are the timelines, by when should I apply, by when should I have my GMAT or GRE ready, and when should I start preparing for my application, and when should I start building my profile, right? So let's take it one by one. So ISB PGP round 1 deadline typically is in September. Let's assume it's 2025 and it's September 15th, which is the deadline. So you have to work backwards, keeping September 15th in mind as round 1 deadline. Round 2 deadline would be December mid, round 3 deadline would be January mid. But the process, the components that you have to fill up, the interviews, all of that remains the same, just the timelines change for the respective rounds. Let's say Sarthak is applying for round 1. And now I'll tell you what he has to submit. He has to submit 3 essays. He has to submit a GMAT or GRE score, which he has given in center. An online score is not at all accepted. And he has to submit a letter of recommendation, a professional LOR, either from his current manager or senior colleague who has worked closely with him, and or a former manager or colleague also works. And he has to submit his CV as well in the ISB format. I've made a video on CV making for ISB. You can check that out. And also he has to fill up other details in the application like awards, achievements, work responsibilities. So let's get started. So let's say Sarthak is in March 2025 and he's thinking on when he should take the GMAT or GRE and when he should start working on his profile. Now let's assume that Sarthak comes from a conventional background. A conventional background from an ISB lens would mean that Sarthak is, let's say, an engineer who has had 2, 3, 4, 5 years of experience, be it in TCS or Infosys or Bank of America or Citi. Or another kind of conventional profile which I see is a lot of CAs or CFAs applying for ISB after having worked in a Big Four or a BDO India, right? So if you fall in either of these two buckets, please keep this in mind that you have a conventional profile, which means that you have to do some extra effort to stand out from the huge number of CAs or CFAs or engineers who apply for ISB, right? So let's say Sarthak is in March and he's perplexed on when he should start his GMAT or GRE preparation and what he can do to build his profile, right? So what I'll recommend to Sarthak is spend 2 hours per day on your GMAT or GRE prep. Please don't leave your job. 1 hour before office, 1 hour after office works. Just be consistent about it. A lot of folks ask me on whether they should take coaching for GMAT or GRE or not. See, we offer GMAT coaching services, but despite that, I'll tell you this: spend a month in going through the curriculum, practicing some questions from the official guides, going through Manhattan guides, and then take a call on whether I need GMAT coaching or not, or whether I should subscribe to a GregMat or a Magoosh for GRE or not. Spend a month, start early, figure out if you need coaching, yes or no, right? So what I recommend to Sarthak is 2 hours per day on GMAT, 2 hours per day on GRE, whatever exam he is preparing for. And in parallel, he can spend a couple of hours per week in building his profile, whether it's him writing a blog or him playing a sport or him volunteering or him having an Instagram handle or him having a passion project, whatever it is that he would like to highlight as a theme in his profile, he can work towards that. But do it in parallel to GMAT or GRE prep. 2 hours per week is sufficient for profile building, in parallel 2 hours per day on GMAT or GRE prep alongside your venture or your corporate job. Why should I do it in parallel? Because as soon as you start with profile building, it's better for it to be authentic when I write my essays and give the interviews. If I start with profile building in June or July, it defeats the purpose, right? So that is one nuance that I have to keep in mind. So from March to June, Sarthak will heavily focus on GMAT, GRE prep and profile building consistently week on week. And June, in first week of June, essays are typically released. Last year, they were released on June 6th, 2024. The essay topics were 3. The first essay was contemplate situations which have shaped your personal journey till now, who or what has shaped your personal journey. Talk about your strengths and weaknesses as well. Second essay was talk about why you want to do an MBA, what made you realize, which intellectual experiences made you realize that you want to do an MBA. And third essay, which was optional, was what are your professional goals after ISB, both short term, long term. How will ISB help you? Now, I've made another video on my channel on how I would have tackled the essay topics. You can watch it there. I'll not repeat that content to bore you. But I would definitely write the goals essay. Please do. Shows clarity of thought. Even if you are confused between two goals, whether it's consulting or product management, please do write one specific goal. You can talk to alums, watch a lot of content, and then decide on one goal in which you're more inclined, right? But do write the goals essay, please, please, please. So these were the essay topics in 2024. Essay topics broadly remain the same every year, at least the first and the third essay, which is your personal life story, and the goals essay. The second essay in 2023 was talk to us about one success, one failure. In 2024, it was talk about intellectual experiences which have revealed the need for you to do an MBA, right? So Sarthak from June onwards will start focusing on the essays in parallel to his GMAT, GRE prep and profile building, right? So June onwards, June to August end, he'll do essays in parallel to his GMAT, GRE prep, and he'll give the exam, let's say in July, or if he needs another attempt, he'll give it in August. But in parallel, he'll do the essays, he'll continue building his profile, and then after he's done the essays, he should focus on his CV. CV takes a lot of time, at least 4 or 5 iterations. So please don't keep it for the last day. Please, please, please. And a lot of people take CV for granted, but don't do that. And in parallel, he can talk to his manager for a letter of recommendation. The email goes from the ISB portal to the manager. The manager has to answer 4 or 5 questions. And then by the end of August, Sarthak gets his GMAT or GRE score, and he can submit the application after alum reviews by September first week. That's what Sarthak has to do to submit the application, right? So start in March, work till August, consistently take it easy. Don't leave everything till June or July. It becomes very, very, very chaotic. And specifically when you have a conventional profile. And I'll just cover interviews in a couple of more minutes. I'll not bore you. So Sarthak submits the application by September mid. He gets the interview call by October mid. Interview calls come in phases, come city-wise. October mid to November mid, interviews happen across cities. Sarthak gets an interview call. It's one round of interview conversation. Typically, you have 2 to 3 alumni of ISB taking the interview. Before the interview, you have on-the-spot essays as well, where you're given an ethical dilemma or an ethical situation. You have to answer it. That was introduced last year, 2024. I've talked about it in another video. You can check that out. And on-the-spot essays. And interview conversation happens for 30 to 40 minutes. It can take an hour as well. And Sarthak gets his admit decision by November end. Last year it came on November 26th. So that is the timeline. September submission, if he's shortlisted for an interview, October to November interviews, one round of conversation, and November end is the result. Same process is followed for the subsequent rounds also. If Sarthak is not ready with his score or his essays, he can apply in round 2. December 10th was the deadline last year, December 8th or 10th. Interviews happened in January after the new year till Feb mid, and results came. For some people, they came in Jan end. For some people, they came in Feb end. Round 3 deadline was 26th January. Interviews happened. Interviews started happening for round 3 applicants very, very quickly. So, Feb second week to Feb end, and March mid were the results. So just the timelines change, but the process remains the same. So when I say submission of the application, that means GMAT or GRE score ready, unofficial report, plus 3 essays ready, one more essay if you're a reapplicant, plus CV, plus letter of recommendation, plus awards, achievements, and fill up the application. So, and one more question which I had to answer for you was, I don't think there is a difference in terms of likelihood of getting through when it comes to round 1, round 2, round 3 for ISB. Scholarship chances obviously reduce as you progress through the rounds, but admissions likelihood doesn't reduce. Right? And I hope this video helps you. I'll see you very soon.